also loaded from the breech, first of its kind, officially manufactured to be loaded from the breech, which means it's being loaded from the rear. This is speeding up the load time for soldiers from 2 to 3 shots from the old muzzle loaders during the Civil War to 12 to 15 shots in a minute from this model. Now, this transition actually began really during the American Civil War. The Army was hesitant, even though they had the technology, to fully move over into this technology, because their attitude was that soldiers that could fire weapons this fast would simply waste ammunition and burn rounds too quickly. But it did start to really demonstrate its usefulness during the Civil War. I'm sure you've all heard of the famous Battle of Gettysburg. On the first day of that battle, Union cavalry troops had these breech loaders, Sharp's breech loaders, and 2 Union cavalry brigades were able to hold off an entire division of Confederate infantry using muzzle loaders for the better part of the first day's action while they were waiting for reinforcements. But what really is going to convince the U.S. Army to switch over to the 4570 breech loader is during the decade following the American Civil War. There was a famous battle against Sioux, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors called the Wagon Box Fight in 1867, where the U.S. Army soldiers, 30 U.S. Army soldiers, outfitted with a early experimental model conversion from a muzzle loader to a breech loader called the Allen conversion. And those 30 troops were able to hold off 800 to 1,000 warriors, which really proved the value of these weapons. And that's what's really going to convince the U.S. Army to make that technological switch over. So, but I can continue to talk to you about the merits of this weapon, or I can simply let the weapon do the talking for me through the firing demonstration. So I'll let you be the judge of how effective this weapon was. I'm going to move down to this end here where I will commence with the firing demonstration. I'm going to put in some historically inaccurate ear protection here. So I'd ask that you look the other way for me while I do that and not hold that against me, but would recommend putting in your own ear protection using your fingers. And I will prepare to commence the program. Load! Ready! Aim! Fire! Fire at will!
Tiny, come here.
See, I did.
Sit. Good boy.
A little faster firing than a muzzle loader, eh? One thing you will notice is still discharging black powder smoke. That is going to be the last model of weapons that the U.S. Army is going to manufacture using black powder smoke charges, because in the 1890s the French are going to develop smokeless powder, which is going to transition us into the next evolution of firearms, which is going to take you into the 20th century. So if you're around here later in the day, we'll be actually doing some demonstrations on the timeline of firearms that were used here at Fort Mackinac to really reinforce this transition that I referenced today of the evolution of firearm technology. We'll also be doing a tactics demonstration later today. We'll actually get to see how these faster firing weapons also evolved and shaped the tactics from linear compact formations to more modern movement oriented, individual-oriented movement tactics. So if you are around later today, I encourage you to swing by to see different elements of the aspect of the firing of these weapons in relation to larger military strategy. Otherwise, I hope I've left with you an added appreciation for the history here at Fort Mackinac, and wish you a good day the rest of your day here.
Behind you.